When people want to improve their audio setup, they often look at getting a new microphone. And in this video, I want to talk about Triton Audio FetHead Microphone Gain Booster. Hi, it's Mike from Casefile and Casefile Presents. On this channel, I'm releasing videos on podcasting and audio production, so if you enjoy the content, hit subscribe and notification. Let's start with the basics. There are two main types of microphones, condensers and dynamics. And not going into details, the difference is how these microphones capture sound. The dynamic microphones use voice coil and magnet to capture sound. And these are kind of plug and play microphones, meaning you don't need external power for them to run. On the other hand, condensers use capacitors, thin membrane, and diaphragm that vibrates and captures sound. With condensers, you do need external power, meaning either batteries or power supplied by your audio interface, like phantom power, 48 volts. Okay, moving on. When a few years ago everyone jumped on streaming or starting YouTube channel or podcasting, people rushed to get USB microphones. Usually they were from Blue mic company, either Yeti or Snowball or any of that kind. And that's cool. I always recommend USB microphones for beginners. However, the issue was that most of these USB microphones were condensers. And what you have to understand about condensers is that usually they're very sensitive. They will pick up every little detail and noise around you. That's great when you record in a recording studio, recording songs or instruments. However, when you record yourself at home, then suddenly your microphone will pick up planes flying overhead, your neighbors, traffic, and all sorts of stuff. That's why I always recommend dynamic USB microphones, which are usually less sensitive. They have a cardioid polar pattern, and overall they're best for recording at home. So that's cool. However, as online personalities and YouTubers and podcasters started upgrading their gear, they looked at getting a new microphone. They moved from these USB microphones to XLR microphones, ones that need audio interface to work. And the winner was, of course, Shure SM7B, the legendary vocal microphone used by people all around the world, from broadcasters to YouTubers to Joe Rogan. And I'm sure you recognize this microphone. It's the one here on the arm. If you watched any YouTube videos, you will see one of these. There is a reason why people get this microphone. It sounds great. You don't really need a pop shield for it because the capsule sits there, so it's a bit of a distance from the top. It's versatile and it can take a lot of volume without distorting the sound. However, there's an issue with this microphone, a small issue, and it's to do with its gain. It's a quiet microphone and it needs a lot of gain at the source. So when I'm recording on it, I usually have my ID4 audio interface turn up to 9, even more, and then still I have to boost the volume in post-production. I had this microphone for years, but I didn't really use it that much, so whenever I did use it, I was fine with boosting the volume in post-production. But when I started this channel, that sort of gain boosting afterwards became a bit of a pain, especially when we have shots from the camera. When we record on a Rode microphone, it's a boom condenser microphone, and then sometimes I do jump to shots from the webcam when I record on Shure SM7B. And so there's always that difference in volume, and I had to then play with it and sort of match it. So I decided to, fix it at the source. After recording a few videos and playing with that whole gain, I knew I needed a gain booster. Now, what's a gain booster? It's a device, it's a preamp that boosts your microphone's signal, its gain at the source with a clean gain, with a clean amplification. And when it comes to microphone gain boosters, I knew of one, of course, and the one that I was recommended and I was recommending to other people, even though I never had one, and that's of course CL1, the Cloudlifter. So I knew I needed one. I went online, looked it up, I put it in a basket. However, the Cloudlifter is kind of pricey. It starts at £100 up to even £150 in some stores. I'm always on the lookout for a bargain or a discount, and that's why I thought to myself, I'm sure there are alternatives to Cloudlifter, but the thing is, I've never looked them up. I've never checked online, even myself. So I did empty the basket, I went searching online, and lo and behold, there are a lot of alternatives to CL1, and ones that are much cheaper than Cloudlifter. I looked at Sub-Zero, SEDM1 Dynamite, Clark Technique CD1, and Triton Audio FetHead. These range in price, but they were all cheaper than CL1 Cloudlifter. All of these had good reviews, and one thing that I also noticed was that some of them you can directly connect to your microphone, meaning you don't need an additional XLR cable like with Cloudlifter, which is an external box. At first I wanted to get the Clark Technique CD1, and that was only like £35 or just above that, but I couldn't find it anywhere. It was out of stock. So in the end I went for FetHead from Triton Audio, and I bought it for £65 from Studio Spares online shop, and it had great reviews. Let's have a look at the specs. Triton Audio make their products in Holland, and FetHead is advertised as low noise gain booster or mic preamp with 27 dB of amplification. What you've got to understand is that the gain booster needs external power, such as phantom power, similar to condenser microphones. So even though your SM7B doesn't need the external power, when you connect it to a gain booster such as FetHead, you will need to switch on that phantom power. So the FetHead came in a small tube like that. Then when we open it, there was a pouch. And the booster was inside. I was actually surprised with the size of it because it looked much bigger on photos, and that's awesome because it can fit on the arm with my SM7B, and I was a little bit worried about that. That's how it looks when it's connected to my SM7B microphone. Okay, let's now jump into Pro Tools and test my SM7B with and without FetHead and hear the difference. Okay, right now I'm recording without FetHead, so on that track says no FetHead, no gain booster, and my gain on my ID4 audio interface is set all the way up to 10. So that's the maximum, and let's set it up to like 7, sort of normal, decent gain. And I don't even know if you're able to hear me. It's just very, very quiet. So now I'm still set to 7 on my Orient ID4. I have my FetHead on the microphone as well as phantom power, of course, and as you can see, the difference is staggering. If I drive it even more, it will start distorting, so there is no point of going above. It's just, you don't need to go above 7's plenty enough. I think it even picks up some peaks on that, so you can even set it low. So that's the difference, and as you can hear, the sound is very clean and transparent, so it's a really clean boost to the gain of this microphone. Would I recommend the FetHead? Well, if you have a dynamic microphone or ribbon microphone for that matter, and you are lacking gains, then of course it boosts the input, the gain at the source, in a clean and transparent way. There were cheaper alternatives and I was looking at. I didn't want to go with the cheapest one because there were some negative reviews, but I think the FetHead is definitely worth the money, and you will hear it working hard in the future videos. On top of that, FetHead is half the price of the original Cloudlifter, and of course you don't need that additional XLR cable with it. But that's it for today. I'm Mike Migas. If you enjoy this content, if you want to learn more about podcasting, you can visit the rest of my channel or my website, mikemigas.com. For now, you can share, you can like or subscribe. I'll see you later.